Hello everyone, Mr. Harper here. We're going to continue our discussion on roots today. So I want to start out with the functions of roots, and you can see them here. They support the plant, they anchor it in the ground, they store food, they absorb water, dissolved minerals, nutrients from the soil. So support the plant. Think of a tree. Look at this tree here, where part of the bank has eroded away, and plants and roots help prevent that erosion to some extent, but not enough here. And the plant is losing its support, and it's going to fall. They anchor the plant in the ground. Think of a tree during a big windstorm that is bending in the wind. Well, if it wasn't for those strong roots, it would literally just fall over. And you've probably seen examples of trees where it's rained a whole lot and then a strong wind, and the roots just can't anchor in the ground strong enough, and the whole tree is laying on its side, and you can see the roots there on the bottom of the tree. So they support the plant, they anchor it in the ground, hold it in the ground. They also store food. So here's some sweet potatoes. They grow underground. These are the roots. These sweet potatoes represent food stored for the plant. So that plant can use that stored food at a later point. And we eat those sweet potatoes because they represent food for us. We're eating the stored food of the plant. We also can talk about things like deciduous trees, which are trees that lose their leaves in the fall. All summer long, those plants are doing photosynthesis, catching sunlight with their leaves and doing photosynthesis to make food. The extra food that they make is stored in the roots. In the fall, the plant loses its leaves, and the next spring they need to make new leaves. Well, where does the energy come from to make those new leaves? It comes from the food that is stored in the roots. So in the spring, the plant will bring that energy, that stored food, back up. It's in the form of sap, and that sap flows back up to the branches and out to where the leaves are going to be made, and that energy is used from that stored food to make the new leaves. And roots also absorb water. Think about when you water a plant. You don't water the leaves, you water the soil. Why at the base of the plant? Why do you water the soil? Because the roots are going to soak up that water. And also nutrients that are in that soil. Remember, we talked about macro and micronutrients: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, sulfur, magnesium, iron, molybdenum, what am I trying to think of? Zinc, and on it goes. So those are the functions of roots. Now, let's think about soil for here a moment. You know that soil is primarily three inorganic compounds: are sand, silt, and clay. There's also air in the soil and decaying animal and plant tissue. The soil holds nutrients. Sand doesn't hold nutrients very well. Silt holds a little bit better, and the smallest particles, clay, hold it the best. And the roots, of course, are going to be pulling those nutrients from that soil. And the nutrients are going to be uptaken by the plant or pulled in by the roots. It helps the plant to grow. Of course, we know the nutrients needed in the largest amounts: nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, are the primary macronutrients, and the secondaries are magnesium, sulfur, and calcium. We can find all those nutrients on the periodic table because they are elements on the periodic table. Here's magnesium, and then over here is sulfur, calcium back over here, nitrogen here, and on we can go. Potassium here, phosphorus here, on we can go. So those are all elements on the periodic table that the plant needs in large amounts. Now, what do they need those things for? Here's just a couple of things. We're not going to spend the whole time on this slide, but nitrogen helps with leaf growth and color the plant, helps the plant make amino acids and proteins and nucleic acid and chlorophyll, the protein things that it needs to live. Without that, you get stunted plant growth, you get yellowed leaves. Phosphorus helps the plant make DNA and helps roots and stems and flowers and seeds all grow. Without enough phosphorus, you don't get as many flowers. Stunting the plant doesn't grow as well. Potassium, resistance to cold, helps the roots and stems and flowers. You get weak stems and roots, and The edges of plant leaves turning brown. Magnesium helps to make chlorophyll. Calcium helps with cell structure and transporting enzymes. You get curled leaves, stunted growth without enough calcium. There's just a little bit of ideas that the plants vitally need these micro and macronutrients, and they get them from the soil through the roots. Last thing, let's talk about the microelements micronutrients, excuse me, not microelements. But these are the nutrients that the plant needs in trace or small amounts, but they're still important. Nickel, iron, zinc, molybdenum, boron, copper, manganese, chlorine. So the plant needs these things too. And where do the plants get them? Gets them, of course, from the soil. But if they don't have enough of those, if there's not enough of these micro and macronutrients in the soil, how can we help? Well, one way we can do is we can put fertilizer on the soil for the plants to have that extra nutrients. And we look at the directions on the bag, how much fertilizer should we spread, and we spread the correct amount. Now, some people are of the opinion that if the plant needs these things, if they need a little bit, that's good, but if they give them a lot, that would be even better. But that's not the case. You can over-fertilize a plant. Because look at this, excessive amounts of any of these nutrients in the soil can actually be poisonous to the plant. So you can put so much fertilizer on it that you kill it. So follow the directions on the bag to put the right amount of fertilizer onto a plant. So we've talked about two things, about how the plant uptakes nutrients from the soil, comes from the soil through the roots into the plant, and the primary functions of the roots. We'll talk more next time.